This year, as a project for the first classes, we talked about bullying. Watching videos or having discussions with our classes helped us learn more about this topic, giving us the chance to film these videos and writing a short story about it. We first learned how to write a short story starting with a sentence given by the teacher, then we proceeded to do so divided into groups. To form the short story, one sentence from each group was chosen, one AL formed the beginning, one BL continued, and one CL concluded. Some students also recorded themselves reading it. This project was a great way for us to work in groups, be connected with students from other classes, and educate ourselves about a topic so close to us.
Chase left the school party in agony and plunged into the dark. He hadn't expected that after his coming out nobody would talk to him. A tear trickled down his cheek, thinking about what had happened at the party he had just left. A group of boys had targeted him, and when he had found the courage to react, he had been punched. He had tried to reach out for his friends to defend him, but no one had stood up for him. Everyone had laughed at him, and he had run away. Oppressed by this overwhelming sensation, he dashed down an empty alley, and then disappeared into the thick of the wood near the school. As he was walking, the leaves were quietly rustling together, darkness oozed out from the trees. He was frightened. A noise took him away from his thoughts. He realized that he had gone too deeply through the wood, and that he didn't know how to go back. Unexpectedly, a branch hit his face. He felt sudden pain and fell down.
Chase woke up feeling dizzy and cold. The blow had left him groggy and sore, but the tears he was trying not to shed were due to the painful memories that came flooding back to him. He had opened his heart to his mates, but no one had understood. An unexpected sound of footsteps in the distance roused him from his unpleasant thoughts. He decided to discover where it was coming from.
I'm glad to see I'm not alone in this place. I felt kind of lost. I'm Chase.
I'm Josh.
The boy said, flashing a warm smile.
It's good to see you're alright. I was at the party and feel guilty for my cowardly behavior. I want to let you know that I appreciate your courage. You have just done something that I will never do, because I'm not nearly as brave as you.
He confessed, blushing crimson. Chase was astonished and didn't know what to say, so he stood up and hugged him. The moon rays filtered in through the treetops, lighting up the place where Chase had felt terribly lonely only a few minutes before. The pain was dulling, and his spirits were rising.
Why were you following me?
Chase asked with a quiver of fear in his voice.
I was worried about you, because I saw how those terrible people were treating you at the party, laughing at you.
Josh answered.
You see, when someone judges you, just don't care about them. Their opinion doesn't matter. You need to be yourself 24/7, even if the others don't appreciate you.
Chase murmured a vague acceptance, as if he wasn't completely convinced, but Josh grabbed his hand.
Like it or not, we had to head back to the party. Are you okay with it?
And so they started walking back into the inky night, also because dark, stormy clouds loomed on the horizon. Meanwhile, their mates had scarcely noticed their disappearance until Chase and Josh came back, just in the middle of the dance hall. Chase's heart pounded in his throat because someone was staring at them, and one of the bullies was waiting for him, but Josh's blank gaze chilled him, and he disappeared in a blur. The music was playing a slow dance, and they joined the others. Chase was finally at peace with himself. He had had enough of bullying, but now, at least one was by his side.
Bullying is a form of violent and intentional behavior repeated over time. It can be of various physical, psychological, verbal, and sexual types. Bullying mainly affects teenagers with the social media, where they are mad or humiliated, but also in safe places like the school.
People are bullied for physical aspects, religion, nationality, physical and mental problems, but also LGBTQ, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer. There are many solutions against bullying. The most important is to talk to adults, teachers, parents, coaches, or psychologists to stop this situation. I think bullies are using their power to control other people and make them feel lonely and unsafe in happy places like school where there are people that are ready to help them. Good manners and respect cost nothing and are for everyone.
In my opinion, bullying is like an influence because people who bully, who are mostly people who think they are strong and popular, with this behavior affect other people who maybe don't even know what it's causing. Most of the time, bullying causes different mental illnesses that ruin the boy or girl's life. But sometimes much bigger things can happen, such as suicide, and that's why you have to stop bullying.
Bullying has always existed. In the past, there was no cyberbullying, of course, but was used much more physical abuse. Today, if we are victims or we need help, we can ask to our family, our friends, our teachers, and they can help us. But in the past, people thought there was a sort of rite of passage between adolescence and adult age. So, in the school, but also in everyday life, the bully was considered like a very strong and bossy figure, and the fight between this person and the weak guys was normal. Bullying was used by the bully to get to join in a new group, or either boys or girls, but also to get attention and to be noticed. A book about bully in the past. His Heart. Heart is a novel. It's a diary of this boy between 1881 and 1882. The bully of this story is Franti. Franti is a bad guy, a bad student. He hates learning, he hates his classmates, he hates teachers. He always laughed at sad situations, and when he feels angry, he hits the others. So, yeah, bullying is a very old issue, and the problems aren't different now. But today, we can do something more.
Searching on the internet the definition of bullying, I found that the behavior of a person who acts and pretends someone smaller and less powerful, often forcing the person to do something he doesn't want to do. But to be honest, I don't think it's enough. My opinion, unfortunately, nowadays bullying isn't only physical. It includes action such as making threats, spreading rumors, attacking someone physically and verbally, and excluding someone from a group on purpose. In fact, there are many types of this phenomenon. First, there's verbal bullying, which is saying or writing things. Then there's social bullying, sometimes referred to as relational bullying, involves hurting someone's reputation or relationships. And lastly, there's cyberbullying, which takes place over digital devices like cell phones, computers, and tablets. At this point, questions rises spontaneously. Where does all this happen? Well, bullying can occur during or after school hours, while most reported bullying happens in the school building. A significant percentage also happens in places like on the playground or the bus. It can also happen traveling to or from school and in the youth's neighborhood or on internet. Most of the times, bullying victims fail to share their situation with an adult or um, reference person because they fear that talking to someone can make things worse and that the bully can get more angry. I personally want to tell them that even if they think they are alone in facing this situation, they're actually surrounded by people who love them for who they are. Finally, it's important to know sorry, it's important to know that no one has the right to judge us apart from ourselves.
I think that bullying is a very concrete problem, something really close to us, especially for teenagers, because we can get into contact with it every day in our school life. During the past years, this became a very, very big problem after the evolution of social medias, because bullying slowly turned into cyberbullying, which is also worse in some ways. Because in traditional bullying, we see who is in front of us, who's talking to us, who's judging us, and so it's a situation that we can handle better. Instead, cyberbullying, most of the times, you don't even know who's texting you, who's telling you those things, and so it's something more difficult to handle. And the consequences are a little bit different because for traditional bullying are more physical and for cyberbullying more psychological. Also, social medias give sometimes standards of beauty, and people who are unique can be judged by the mass and feel not loved and start not loving themselves too. But maybe we don't think we can do it, but we can help us, our friends, also people we don't know very well, people at our school, I don't know, to solve this situation with two simple steps. The first step is to talk with somebody you can trust, with our friends, with an adult like our parents, the teachers, the counselors at school, and so they will certainly help us. And the second step is to react in some ways. Try not to care about other people's judges, just be ourselves, and so maybe they will get tired and stop because they see they're not hurting you anymore and you're not caring about them anymore. Also, another thing, we don't have to think that this is just something that can happen at school, at teenagers, because this isn't real, and this happens every day, also in the world of work. And maybe clerks are bullied by their boss or by the colleagues, I don't know. But this is something that happens to everyone in our society, something that everyone can experience, and we need to do something. But the only thing that we can do is to help our people to feel better because they have to feel better, and this is something in our power that we can do and we must do every day.
Bullying is a violent behavior and it can be divided in two parts: physical bullying and psychological bullying. Today I'm gonna talk about psychological bullying. It is a kind of mental abuse, and I think that sometimes it hurts more than physical one because words hit the most, but of course it depends on a person. In this case, the bully makes jokes about some weakness point or physical appearance, and his goal is to humiliate the victim and leave him alone, ruining his reputation. So the victim is alone and starts to think a lot about himself, and he may also think that he's not good enough. This can ruin the victim's mind and also his way of thinking. Um, so this is why I think that psychological bullying is so dangerous for our life and other people's life.
Last year, when I was in a middle school, something really particular happened that completely changed my life. One day, I was going to the park with my friend, and when we arrived, there was a group of boys, and when they saw us, they pushed me away from my friend and they began to slap her face. And when I saw my friend was crying and screaming because she was frightened, I decided to stand up and I said to those boys, "Hey guys, what the hell is your problem? Why did you hurt my friend?" And they said, "Our problem is your stupid friend because she isn't Italian, so she can't stay here with us and with you. So she has to go home in Africa and stay there." When I heard those offensive words, I crept closer that guy, and I assumed he was the boss of the group, and I slapped his face and I said, "If you try again to hurt or to say something like that to my friend, I swear I'll kill you and your friends too." When he heard my words, at first he was surprised, but then he ran away with his friends. And then I helped my friend to stand up, and she hugged me and she said, "Thank you, Sophia, because today you did something beautiful for me, something that no one did in the past." In fact, she said that she had been a victim of bullying in Morocco too. And that day I understood an important thing. The world won't be destroyed by those that do evil, but by those who watch them without doing anything. In fact, I decided to help my friend because I knew it was the right thing to do, and because bullying is not just a behavior which is repeated to hurt someone, but it's indifference. Indifference that we do to other people that don't deserve this.
Hi, today I'm going to talk about bullying. Bullying must be fought with education, not with indifference. To me, this sentence is true. Yes, it's true. And about indifference, once Martin Luther King said, "The ultimate tragedy is not the oppression and the cruelty by bad people, but the silence by good people. The silence, the indifferent, are the problem. Good people, those who see what is happening, should talk, try to solve, instead of remaining silent, indifferent." We all know. We see, but we don't talk. Because we think it doesn't concern us. Or maybe we think that there will be someone else who will talk about it. So we remain indifferent. But we should think that what happens to one another could also happen to us. Even if you think it doesn't concern you, don't remain indifferent. Fight for someone else's safety, for a friend, for a classmate, or also for someone you don't know. If, on the other hand, you aren't by the side of the spectators, but you are experiencing this situation, you should know that you have lots of people around you who will help you, who will understand you, and who will listen to you. You should always remember that you aren't alone. You have a lot of people who will help you. You have to know this. You aren't alone. I have repeated this because to me it's important. The point is that staying indifferent is wrong. You have to fight for your friends, your classmates' right, and for your well-being. Because we can all live our life or our adolescence well. So don't be indifferent. It's important, don't forget this, it's so important.
In my opinion, the worst people are the ones who follow the bully, because probably they don't even know why the bully is hurting the victim or why he's making fun of him or her. And probably they don't want to know, they don't care. Their goal is to have the same power as their leader, so they can control other people like their classmates, and to do that is important that these people are scared of these supporters of the bully.
On the other hand, sometimes the people who follow the bully are the ones who are scared of him, so they decide to follow his path to feel safe.
I haven't been bullied, but I remember that in my middle school class, one of my classmates was bullied because he was dyslexic. However, both and my classmates never intervened because we didn't understand the serious situation, and I'm sorry to have understood it too much late. He was bullied with words and not physically. They often say to him, "You're dumb, you're horrible, how much hair you have on your legs, you look like a monkey, why do you do gymnastics? It's a sport for girls. Oh, yes, you're female. You're very ugly, you're dyslexic, you're gay," and many others. If I think about it now, these words are really terrible, and I can't imagine his pain. He didn't ask for any help, he didn't talk to anyone about it. The only thing he did was to hide in the school bathroom and cry, and then return into the class with a fake smile. Maybe that's why we didn't understand how serious the situation was.
Sophia's speech is absolutely true, and there is also another very important aspect to consider: how bullying changes a person. When I went to elementary school, I had a friend and she used to be bullied because of her physical appearance by her classmates who probably didn't realize how much she was actually suffering because of their behavior. I, as Sophia, didn't help her as I should have because I was little and I didn't understand the situation, although the first thing and the only thing I should have done was tell an adult. Now, even though that girl has changed physically, she's still very insecure about herself and her body, and she's even shyer because she's afraid of the judgment of other people. So I think bullying is worse than it is described, since it can affect your life totally in some cases, and it can change the behavior of a person, making it, for example, less open to people.
The people who get bullied, like the person Sophia or Beatrice talked about, don't even know why people hate on them so much. Like, maybe they never talk to them, they have an amazing personality, they are super friendly, but bullies don't even care about that. They usually hurt people's feelings, but they don't realize that. And the victim sometimes is alone with no one to talk to share their emotion with. And so this can be really hard for them to go through.
Everyone talked about the consequences of the victim and how we should help him, and I think that's obviously the right thing to do. But both kids who are bullied and who bully others may have lasting serious problems. So in my opinion, we should, otherwise we must, help the bully understanding. If we don't find out why did the bully do something like that to another person, this action could be repeated or could have the potential to be repeated. The bully needs to understand that what he's doing is wrong, and if we don't even try to make him change the way things are just gonna change for the victim and not the bully. So this is what I think. We must help the bully change the perception of his action so he won't do it again. Remember, prevention is better than cure.
Pain, heartache, suffering, loneliness. These are emotions that every bully victim feels. But now, I'm talking to you, the bully. Some people like you don't understand the power of words. You don't understand how much words can hurt people. You don't know how they can make others feel worthless and lonely and ugly and unloved. I wonder if your mom and dad know the things that you say and do. Maybe they are the ones you have learned this from. Or maybe they would be disappointed and shocked if they knew how you treat others. Why do you do this? Are you mad? Are you sad? Do you realize you are being mean? Do you ever feel guilty? Maybe you are suffering too. Maybe you have been bullied too. If that is the case, I can try to understand your position and your situation, but it doesn't excuse your behavior towards people, because your actions and your words are hurtful. Why do you feel the need to belittle and shame others? Have you ever tried to understand how people being bullied feel? I'll tell you. They feel bad. They feel powerless. They feel impotent. They feel so small that they start to think that they are the ones to blame. Try to imagine those people who constantly go to school terrified, not knowing what's gonna come on their way. Why would you make somebody suffer? What is your purpose? You want to feel strong and powerful? You are the opposite. How can you live with yourself knowing that you treat people like that? How can you think of yourself as a great person? Do you really find enjoyment from watching people suffer and crying because of you? I don't think so. By doing this, you are just showing us that you feel insecure inside. The people that you are bullying, they are hurting. And you have no clue, you have no idea if they already have to deal with other struggles when they come back home. And maybe they are also on the verge of giving up. And then the next day, when they go to school, a place in which they should feel safe and comfortable, they have to face your insecurities. Do you ever think about the consequences of your choices, of your words? Maybe you think that you're a victim and at the end of the day can just brush them off like they didn't mean anything. You are totally wrong. Do you know that words can kill? Do you know that lots of people have decided to end their life because of people like you? So I ask you again, how do you live with yourself? How can you even sleep at night? Do you feel good inside? I am not here to judge you because I don't want to make your same mistake. I just want to give you some advice. How about you spend less time judging people and more time trying to understand them? You will feel so much better, I promise, and you will find relief. Kindness is easy and it doesn't cost anything. You never know the struggles that people are facing every single day. And if you can add even a small amount of joy to someone's day, you will feel happy too. These actions will make you feel strong and powerful. I hope you have understood the power of words. And I hope you have understood that love will always win over hate.
Hi, I'm Nicole, and today I'm gonna tell you more about bullying. Let's get started. Bullying means hurting a person physically and psychologically, mocking him, and the person who bullies is called bully, while the person who is subject to malice is the victim. There are different types of bullying. For example, there's the sexual one, the verbal one, the physical one, or the psychological one. But there's another type of it, which is the most common nowadays, and I'm talking about the cyberbullying. In this case, a person is targeted on social media, such as Facebook, Instagram, which is mostly used by teenagers, Twitter, Snapchat, and there are many others. And this person receives text messages full of insults or even death wishes, which is terrible. Why? Because that person is physically different from the others, or just because of its special interests or for its sexual orientation. It doesn't make sense. For this reason, please, when you're in front of an act of bullying, do not remain indifferent but act. Talk about it to an adult or to a friend you can trust. Let's help each other to stop bullying, because if it goes on, it will destroy the lives of many kids. When I was in elementary school, I was bullied by a bunch of some of my classmates, and it was horrible. So I know what all the targeted kids are going through. But I dealt with the situation by talking to someone about it. And believe me, if I say that it is the best thing you can do in these situations. In conclusion, don't let bullies intimidate you, because they just want to make you feel inferior to them. And please, when you see a kid, a person that is in danger because of the bullying, do something and help him. Okay guys, I think that's all for today. See you soon.
Most people have a wrong idea of bullying. When they hear about it, they think of kids getting shot into lockers or having their head flashed into toilets. But in the truth, bullying could be a lot more serious and complicated than that. Bullies use their power to intimidate and control people, making them feel helpless, alone, and unsafe in places where you should be. No one ever has the right to make you feel like that, but the problem is, bullying is hard to stop. The first reaction to bullying of many people is to ignore it, and hoping that one day it will suddenly stop. Well, this is one of the worst things to do, because even if you think that you can deal with it, you don't deserve to be treated like that. So all that you have to do is tell an adult, which could be your mom, your dad, your teacher, and they will surely help you, because nobody tolerates bullying. And always remember that you're perfect exactly the way you are, and nobody can judge your choices or your opinions.
I would like to talk about the people who see a girl or a boy being bullied but don't do anything to react. I think that in a way they help the bullies to shame the victim. I understand that it isn't so simple to report these facts. Maybe you can be afraid to think that you can become the next victim for the bullies. That's why you have to tell an adult you trust. Only in doing this, the bullies will stop their awful behavior. There is another problem. Adults don't always believe you. They can say, "You are big enough to defend yourself." But they have to understand that in some situations we feel so small in front of the bullies. That's exactly their purpose, make us feel small. We aren't small. We are people who deserve to feel happy. Luckily, there are people who are brave enough to spread positive vibes and help us. They improve the victim's self-esteem, replying with comforting messages when the victims tell them their stories. I admire them because I don't think a lot of people can do what they do. There are points of reference for all of us. They taught us that there is too much hate in this world and we don't have to be part of it.
On the other hand, a lot of students are trying to spread positive vibes on the social media. For example, a high school student called Jeremiah created an account on Twitter in order to send compliments to his friends to make them feel safer and happier. He wanted to show the power of the social media in a positive way, because unfortunately today social media are used to spread the negative vibes and to insult the others. We have all to act as upstanders, denouncing bullying, cooperating and helping the victims to feel safer. We can fight against this big problem in our own way. For example, a simple smile can mean a lot for a person who's always alone, and complimenting the others is a way to show that we really care about them and that we really appreciate their work. Sometimes just receiving a nice word can change our whole day. day, and we should stay calm, positive, and we should spread positive vibes in our community, because this can help our community a lot, and this makes us feel happier and more confident.
In conclusion, I think we can all agree saying that bullying is wrong, it's never okay, it's never cool. Doing it never makes you look good, but you always have a choice. Be the person that is smart enough and confident enough to be friends with everyone you meet. By doing so, you're sending the message that you're self-assured enough to not care about what others may think. I really hope you appreciated and learned something from these videos my schoolmates made, and I hope you took it seriously. This is an issue that's been costing lives. However, it's important to understand that bullying is a deviance that can be controlled and eliminated. And we, as students, can change that. People need to learn and practice empathy so that one day there will be less broken people in this world. As Gandhi said, be the change you want to see in the world. Thank you.